Trail talk time. Out on another beauty of a trail. Just breathing in that fresh chi. Loving this beautiful day. First snowfall. It's so gorgeous out. And lately I've been, observing the birds flying around in groups together and just being in awe of how they just move together, in one group, as if they have one mind. I'm sure many of you have seen like sterlings doing it in giant groups, and they seem to all just be one body, flowing in unison. It's so beautiful to watch. And I was thinking about, before I ever learned about Rupert Sheldrake, this amazing scientist, he has discovered that there's this field within species which they communicate within or through, and he calls it morphic resonance. So essentially, the species, they're all part of the same energy field. And so that's how they're able to move in unison with each other, because they're all communicating through this space, through this field. And I was thinking that human beings, we have the same capacity. We're all one species. But the difference is that we've cut ourselves off from our natural way of being, our natural environment, our habitat, which is nature. Animals, they still have that connection, that energetic connection, because they're one with their natural environment. And they're not cut off like human beings. We've created all of these big cities and infrastructure and laid down all of this concrete, and we've cut ourselves off from the natural elements of nature and Mother Earth's beautiful energetic connection. And in so many ways we've cut ourselves off from each other, really feeling into each other, and we've cut ourselves off from our psychic abilities, our telepathic abilities. And some people are naturally, more gifted than others, more psychic than others, and they still have these abilities very alive within them. I was talking about this with my mom yesterday, and she talked about a psychic that her friend went to who was just kind of scanning the room, and they pinpointed her friend, saying that she was afraid of drowning, which is absolutely true. And, she's really afraid of going in the water, of drowning. And there was no, possible way that this psychic could have known that or, found out about that. And they said that, my mom's friend had drowned in a previous life, and that's why she was afraid of going in the water and drowning now. And, my mom's friend just burst into tears, because it really hit home for her that was the truth, right? And, there's so many experiences that people have had with psychics, and obviously the psychics with their own abilities to be able to tap into that connection, their higher senses. And I feel like, if you look at the way that animals are experiencing the world, they communicate in such a different way. And they really have a different sense of feeling. And I feel like, human beings, we have so much potential to tap into these higher senses, yet they've just become so dormant. And a big reason is the technology that we've created. And technology is beautiful in so many ways, right? It's helped us evolve and make life easier, but it's a double-edged sword, because as we rely on technology more and more, we start to rely less on our own abilities. This technology here, we are the original technology. We create all these other things, but when we start to rely on those, then we lose out on our abilities, and they become dormant. They become atrophied. Like our memories, as we rely on our phones and the internet to bring us the answers we need. If we have a question, we just ask Google, and we don't need to really remember anything because it's always there at our fingertips. And so this is, a good and a bad thing. But I always feel like we can learn so much from animals and see how, they communicate and work together like that. I feel like we need to take a step back from where we're heading into our future and ask, is the way that we're using technology the best for us? Is it really helping the way that we're using it, or is it actually doing more harm than good? Because technology is just speeding up ever more quickly all the time. And all these new, forms of AI and stuff are going to be coming out more and more. And that's always, a theory in sci-fi and everything, looking into the future and seeing AI take over, the robots taking over human beings. And if we're not careful, this might be our future. And I would hate to see that happen, because, we're such a beautiful species. And if we can, remain wise in the way that we create and use technology, then we have an opportunity to all live in a utopian world if we can come together like the animals and, really start to feel our connection with each other, come back to our natural habitat more and start to tap in to this wonderful connection with each other and with the earth. And it's tough when we've relied on, all this technology and the system we're born in for so long. I was talking to my mom yesterday about, this whole situation, like when the lockdown happened from COVID and stuff, and how people started to, use their time differently because they're at home, and people started to plant gardens and bake their own bread and stuff like that. And those little things are exactly what I feel like we need, for us all to be living in a more sustainable way and be more self-empowered, right? Learn how we can fend for ourselves instead of relying on all of this technology and all this mass production to give us what we need. It takes time to make great changes, but one small change starts to lead to another and another, and it all has a ripple effect. And if everyone starts to make little changes, then all of a sudden, bigger changes start to come about and happen. And I can see things being very split which they already are, you know, coming into the future with technology ramping up and, you know, some people starting to become, you know, part robot or technology. That's the study of transhumanism, right? Where we actually start to merge with technology and we become, you know, putting chips into our body and eventually just completely becoming robotic or synthetic. And I think it would be a shame for us to completely go in that direction and miss out on this, you know, so-called natural life and way of being. So that's just my thinking in the last little while about where we're heading, and in hopes to inspire some beautiful change, you know, and just coming into nature and remembering where we come from, right? Remembering that this is our true home. And we've had, you know, so many years of evolution where technology has helped us, but we see how in many ways it's also a hindrance in our lives. And so we just need to be wise in how we're using it and not forget about, you know, this beauty of the natural world and our beautiful connection with each other and with it all. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share for today. Hope everyone has an amazing day. Just feel a little more deeply, you know, take some time to not be so rushed in this life, always wanting to get things so quickly. That's the problem that I feel technology has brought about. We're impatient and we always want the next thing right away. And that, you know, culture of convenience and fast food and fast production, it might seem great for a while, but it's not sustainable. And so my question is, what are we doing today? And how is it affecting us in the future? Is it really a sustainable way of being for us and for future generations to come? Or is it really, you know, doing more harm than good? So I'll leave you with that question. Have an amazing day. Peace and limitless love.